Welcome back to The Vocalist. Today we are listening to the band Godsmack. This song is called Under Your Scars. Here we go.
In spite of everything that we've been through, when you say black and I say white, it's not about who's wrong as long as it feels right. Don't think those stars won't align under your scars. I pray you're like a shooting star in the rain. You're everything that feels like home to me. Yeah, under your scars, I could live inside you time after time. If you'd only let me live inside of mine, live inside of mine.
I think I need to pull up the lyrics. I think perhaps I had a lot going on in my mind. There's the element of just watching a video. Sometimes I think it would be better if I just did audio reactions so that I'm not distracted by what's on screen. But sometimes that's its own piece of art. So I like seeing videos when they're available. So I'm watching that. I'm listening to his vocals, and I think I started to pick up on something that I have detected in a number of rock vocalists, and I just never quite put a name to it. So I'm thinking all of this, and then toward the end there, I started to listen and pay closer attention to the lyrics, and I wish I had been paying closer attention to the lyrics earlier, because they just, I don't know, something kind of caught my attention with that. All that being said, Under Your Scars, lyrics. What I was talking about with the rock vocalists, there are a few that come to mind, and I think a lot of them sort of, I don't know, I think of them as 90s vocalists, maybe sometimes grunge, but there is this darkness in that lower chest voice. It's a very covered sound, and as they ascend, their vocals still feel so full. And I think unless they're really, climbing the ladder all the way up to a really high head dominant mix, it's in a range where I think they've just mastered the ability to keep a lot of space while ascending. Most of us are taught to sort of narrow a little bit as a form of protection, and also to sort of facilitate with more ease that ascent, but I'm not hearing that here. So I'm gonna try and point it out. I don't know if it was just kind of an overall impression, or if there's something I can really latch onto to make my case. Oh, I really love this opening. Just that acoustic piano sound. It sounded like strings came in, but I imagine it's some sort of synthetic sound. Unless, I don't know, maybe they did have strings play for this, but I haven't seen any, so that's why I'm assuming it's synthetic. So there is so much backspace in that. And it really does sound covered to me. It's a little contained. It's not, do we make sense? No, do we make sense? So that helps, that containment, when we're just allowing a slight, you might say a narrowing of the vowel shaping, but it's definitely rounder, a little taller, and a little smaller.
In spite of everything that we've been through, when you say black and I say white, it's not about who's wrong as long as it feels right. Don't think those stars won't align.
So when he sang stars, and align, I think is the, see, this is why I need the lyrics. Okay, don't think those stars won't align. You can see a lot of opening, but I feel like he's using a nice kind of open pharyngeal space as opposed to allowing the larynx to rise too much, to narrow at the top, and then to kind of become more nasal. It's still very open. Let me play that again.
About who's wrong as long as it feels right. Don't think those stars won't align. Under your scars I pray, you're like a shooting star in the rain. You're everything that feels like home to me, yeah. Under your scars I could live inside you time after time. If you'd only let me live inside of mine, live inside of mine. Wish you were here, right beside me.
If you listen to me, that is a really distinct sound. The first singer that comes to mind is Eddie Vedder. And when I think, in my mind, I feel like there's just a ton of breath pressure. And so when you're containing that sound with so much pressure, I feel like it creates this really unique color. And like I said, I've heard it before from other singers, but it's just, what is it? There's like this metallic sort of ping that I love, but also this covered richness that it's so distinct, at least to my ears. And I love when you hear this in any kind of, I mean, I'm assuming they're a rock band. I don't know exactly how they define themselves, but like that sort of music, like, it's such a good sound.
Wish you were here, right beside me, so I could watch you sleep, hold your body closer, breathe you deep, and everything feels broken when you're not next to me. Would you still be you if we weren't we? Under your scars.
That E vowel. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's a little bit of a depression of the tongue there to get that unique sound. Because normally when you're singing high and you have an E vowel, you tend to modify to something that is more open. So we'll do E maybe to A or eh. And if it's super high, that's when you hear singers do more of an ah sound. But it's a very high E vowel. And so I just love that covered sound. It's so special. And he's also creating so much beautiful fullness because he's not spreading like it's a shout. He's covering almost in a classical way, or a classical vocal style, technique, however you want to phrase it. But it doesn't sound it. I want to try and say this as concisely and as clearly as I can, because I'm thinking in contrast between a lot of the classical techniques that we know versus pop and contemporary styles. So on this particular E vowel, I do feel like there's a slight depression of the larynx, and part of that is with like the root of the tongue. We're getting that slight covered quality, but when you think of, or at least when I think of classical singing, there is a lot less containment because you're utilizing your air to produce as much sound as you can when you're not in front of a mic. And since he doesn't have to do that, I feel like he's able to sort of keep it to himself a little bit, which is giving us this really cool color. And also with a lot of classical techniques, the depression of the larynx isn't always encouraged. So I think those are the few features that, or like the differences in this case as to why there are so many similarities and yet we're getting different tones. Hopefully that makes sense.
Would you still be you if we weren't we? Under your stars I pray. You're like a shooting star in the rain. You're everything that feels like home to me, yeah. Under your stars I could live inside you time after time. If you'd only let me live inside of mine. So hey, if you feel like coming down, if you feel
I
like
like that edginess on the descending I sound.
let me live inside of mine. So hey, if you feel like coming down, if you feel like coming around, just call my name out loud. Nah, nah, nah. Hey, if you feel like coming down, if you feel like coming around, just call my name out loud. Nah, nah, nah. Yeah. Under your stars I pray. You're like a shooting star in the rain. You're everything that feels like home to me, yeah. Under your stars I could live inside you time after time. If you'd only let me live inside of mine, live inside of mine.
I forgot to even talk about the lyrics, but I really like the line in the chorus, under your scars, I could live inside you time after time if you'd only let me live inside of mine. I think that's just such a beautiful way of, at least the way I'm interpreting it. I mean, when you think about unconditional love and acceptance and that sort of vulnerability, I think that was just a really beautiful way of saying that, a poetic way really of saying that. And yeah, I don't know, sometimes lyrics are very straightforward and other times they kind of make you think a little bit more, and I really liked that. I'm not going to try to explain myself again with regards to his tone. I hope that to some degree my message was communicated clearly, but it really is a distinct sound. And I just find it so interesting because when you have that sort of containment and that narrowing, we get elements of twang, but it's not so much that we would, put them into any sort of country or rock country genre. It's just this really beautiful, covered, slightly harsh sound that has this really cool fullness. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that today. Thank you guys so much for this recommendation and for watching with me, and hopefully I will see you next time.